Okay, now the session has started. Welcome, Tony. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. So thank you so much for having me.
So, it's too early for you, or is when do you wake up?
No, it's 8:30 a.m. for me right now. So this is about the time I normally start logging on and getting productive. So that's perfect for me.
Okay, so let's start with this conversation. Okay, so you can explain about you. Okay, whatever comes in your memory from your childhood days, through your career path, and through your career studies, and everything that you want to share with us.
Cool. Yeah. So I am Tony Zupancic. I've been in email now for about 5.5 to 6 years. I've done everything agency side, brand side. I've moved around a lot. Um, and I actually have a uh, interesting career path getting into email marketing. A lot of people, they say they've fallen into email marketing. It's not something you go to college for. There's no university for it. There's no formal program for it. Um, and for me, I went from creative, so graphic design, photography, which was always my passion growing up. Studied that in college, did a lot of art in high school, and worked my first two career jobs in both graphic design and photography. So about 5.5 years ago now, 6 years ago, I started getting into that digital space, and I decided to go into email marketing, not knowing anything about coding, no HTML. Like, I took one HTML class in college. When I took it, I was like, this isn't for me. Fast forward a handful of years later, and I am elbows deep in coding development and things like that. So it was really interesting how I kind of went from like, this isn't for me, to I'm going to make a full blown career out of this, and became super passionate about it, which was kind of cool. And then when I got into my first email gig, the manager that was supposed to teach me everything about email, everything about development, everything about the industry, day one, she was gone. And it's funny because I've had conversations with her about it. We really kind of laughed about it, but she was gone. So it was really kind of that feet to the fire kind of moment where I had to learn everything from scratch, which was kind of cool. And then fast forward to today, I've touched everything from campaign management, program automation, to tool development for people in the email marketing industry, which is kind of cool.
Mm. So the accidental shift once your manager left, right? That one, then you took it off with the marketing. So
Hmm.
uh, you started with the graphic designs, and I think you are very good in uh, with photography as well. And you worked with Photoshop or Dream. What was that? What we called it? Dreamweaver,
Yep.
right? So you're quite I think Cameron also was quite equipped with Dreamweaver. And
Yeah, there's a few of us that started out on Dreamweaver, and kind of progressed on from that piece of software. Yeah.
uh, so during your college studies, when you were doing photography and this graphic designs, right?
Hmm.
So you had some mindset that okay, from after taking this degree and all, okay, after completing studies, I'll choose another field, choose this field of photography and all. And you actually you walked it with photography and all also, right? Initial,
Yeah.
that's what you said. So uh, what actually interests you in marketing cloud, like when you started going into this marketing cloud, right? And then what stock you said, oh, this is quite interesting.
Yeah. So when I graduated from university, I spent 4 years in a photo studio, and then after that, 4 years in a local university doing marketing in their department. Um, and my main focus there was print marketing, but we
mm,
also had a digital marketing and email marketing arm of our department as well. And I kind of started working really closely with that email marketing, the digital marketing arm as well, which got me interested in the digital marketing aspect of things.
mm,
When I first started at my first email marketing job, um, what really started driving me was just the idea that what I am putting together for our departments and for our marketing team, what I'm putting together in our emails and sending out through Salesforce Marketing Cloud wasn't just hitting one or two people, it was hitting like hundreds of thousands of people. So like that scale, a lot of people get really like the whole like send paralysis, right? Where you're like get
mm,
really, really scared about hitting that send button. That kind of idea excited me about the sheer reach that our industry has.
mm,
So like that was really cool for me. And then it kind of set in like, oh shit, like we're hitting hundreds of thousands of people. Everything that I put through there has to be on point. Um,
mm,
so knowing that, I put a lot of time into figuring all that kind of stuff out, making that craft better, and like kind of really trying to push myself to know what was really going on rather than just sending things out. Um,
mm,
so that was really kind of my drive, was just like that responsibility of like, oh, this isn't just going out to a handful of people where it's just going to
mm,
be discarded. It's going out to a ton of people. So I have to be mindful of that.
mm,
Um, so then once I started learning that aspect of it and I got adept at like the campaign management side of it, is when I really started feeling comfortable about figuring out like what else can I do in this platform and in this industry.
mm,
So that's where I started trying to push myself to see what other problems can I solve or what else can I really, sink my teeth into to learn, right? Um,
mm.
so that was a lot of fun trying to explore those areas too.
Yeah. So when you started your journey, right? So I think this one is Benedictine University, if
Mhm.
I'm pronouncing it correct. So there you actually some way it was related when you are doing this booklets, newsletter, event invitation, digital. So you were somehow able to relate what is happening marketing cloud, right? So these are the
Yeah.
main use case that we derive in marketing cloud paradigms also, right? And
Yeah. So like with the way that I look at it is that like when I was doing the graphic design stuff and I was doing the print marketing, the booklets, all that kind of stuff, um, and then when I made that transition into email marketing, um,
mm,
I had a lot of conversations with people. It's like you spent all this time in university doing print marketing and you've done this for 4 years and all that kind of stuff. You're kind of like stepping away from it and going complete 180.
mm,
But the way that I kind of looked at it was all of that experience that I have in print marketing, all of that experience that I have in just general marketing of a product or a service, I can take that and relate that to email,
mm,
because there's still that design factor. There's still that trying to make conscious designs as far as like what you're putting in the email, how you lay it out, how you convey that information, how you take your stakeholders' message, which
mm,
they most of the time have an idea of what you want to say, but they don't have the words to convey that. Um,
mm.
so all that time that I spent doing graphic design and marketing really translated pretty seamlessly to email marketing because all that same strategy applies, all that same design knowledge applies. It's just a different way of implementing it.
Implementing it. So yeah. So when I was a .NET, I was working for .NET. Okay, and basically we need to have a proper infrastructure where we need to connect via VPN to a client network, and then all the .NET infrastructure has to be built. So when AWS came into the picture, okay, we were asked, they were giving some transition training and all, and then they have not only those infrastructure built with AWS, but definitely they want to help us accustom with the AWS transition.
Hmm.
So I was going through those transition period where I was trying to learn, and that time what happened was I went through a training program, and where they were discussing about this machine learning, which was their actually main core focus in AWS. Okay, and at that time they started with describing the persona of a person. So the example they gave was like example of a Coca-Cola. Okay, so the Coca-Cola example was like, say if you are sending that communication, email communication, okay, to the youngsters. So they will have some party uh, pictures where they are doing a party and there is a big Coca-Cola bottle. Okay, and the other one was like if they are the old age group, okay, above 50 and above, then they will be sitting in the dining room with all the family having their
Hmm.
meal, and and between that dining room, right, there will be a big Coca-Cola bottle.
Hmm.
And the most interesting part for me was they were looking at the persona and about that person. Okay, so there is a classification with a JSON where they used to have a gender. So if the gender is a transgender or some LGBT community side,
Hmm.
okay, so what they will do is they will have to send a picture with someone very hot. Okay, and in his hand there will be a Coca-Cola small bottle, okay,
Hmm.
small one, or a can, and he's a very hot model. So that time I found it little funny at that time, okay, but now I can actually, when we send email and all, and how those agencies define those images, okay, so now I can relate, okay, what actually makes a bigger impression and
Right.
how we do. So coming back to you, okay, so I'll go to BLDR. Okay? I'll go there.
What's that?
Yeah, sorry.
I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, I'll go to BLDR.
Okay.
Okay. So before that, let's come to Dreamforce. So
Sure.
you went to Dreamforce and then you basically gave this. You became a speaker for BLDR, right, in Dreamforce.
Yes. Yep.
So if you can, yeah, if you can give us your experience in Dreamforce when you went there as a speaker and explain this.
Sure. Dreamforce was great. So I've been trying to do more speaking engagements since I started in email. Um, and so I've done connections, I've done webinars, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Dreamforce was a fantastic experience.
Mhm.
Um, just because of the fact that the team of Salesforce people that put Dreamforce on and that deal with the speakers, they were fantastic. Like they helped me out throughout the whole process. Um, and it was really fun getting to go out to San Francisco. So I'm in Chicago, so it's a trek for me. But it was really fun getting to go out to San Francisco, um, be a part of that, and have the opportunity to present the stuff that I'm working on, and kind of get it out into the general marketing cloud audience, and be a focus for that event. It was really cool. Um, yeah, it was, I think I had like 60 or 70 people come out and hang out for the session, which was really cool. And a lot of interest was kind of drawn up from it. So it was a lot of fun.
So, did you had some mechanism of getting the feedback after the session? Was there
So
any?
they do surveys through the Salesforce Events app,
Mhm,
and then I actually put together a cloud page survey that I did, and had people fill that out. I had a couple of them fill
mhm,
it out, but um, I had a couple people come up to me after the fact and have some conversations around it, and all that kind of feedback was invaluable because you know right after I had those conversations, uh, you know, probably the next day or that next week, I started implementing some of that stuff that I had heard from people.
mm,
So it was really cool to see like what people wanted in the package and what people wanted in Builder, um, to be able to implement that directly. And
mm,
even after the session, the day after the session, I had conversations with people like Elliot Harper and Adam Spriggs, where they provided some feedback and they gave me some direction on like what they would like to see in this kind of a thing,
mm.
which is really cool. It's just having that one-to-one interaction with people in the industry is just invaluable.
What was the feedback like? Like which part of
So I
the?
remember one of the things that Elliot had said was he was looking for something that you were able to do essentially continuous integration and continuous deployment from
Mm,
a GitHub branch into Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Uh,
okay.
so that's definitely something that this year I'm planning on figuring that piece of it out and working on that to have some way to, have your project managed in GitHub,
Mm,
push it to your main branch, and then
mm,
when you make that pull request into your main branch, it'll deploy in the Salesforce Marketing Cloud and update your assets there.
mm,
So it's all very possible. It's all very, it's just building blocks to figure out how to get it to
mm,
that point. But it's things like that where I'm like, yeah, that's the next logical step to implement within Builder.
mm.
So that was kind of
Yeah.
cool. And then there was the biggest feedback that I got from people after the session, and just other users at agencies and other big clients, was that they needed some sort of like authentication for Builder to enforce that flow.
Mm,
um so literally my wife was coming out to San Francisco after. We were going to do like a little mini vacation out there after the conference. So I
mhm,
went to the airport to wait for her to come in,
mm,
and I was sitting at baggage claim in San
mhm,
Francisco in their airport, working on how to implement authentication in the Builder command line application. So literally the day after the conference, I was trying to figure out how to implement this feature. And then I don't know, maybe it was like 2, 3 weeks after, I was able to actually push that into production and actually get that out there. So it was really
mhm.
cool just to feel like
This
this.
one was interesting. Yeah, this was interesting that you're sitting in the airport and you're thinking about this author.